Hey guys, Drewski here, and today we're doing a different style of squad video. We're not going to be doing primarily gameplay, we're going to be doing a primarily discussion-based video based on the new roadmap that came out for squad that's unveiling a lot of new features that are to come, that are actually very, very close to coming out in the future. So let's check out the roadmap. It's on their website. I'm just going to be going through a display capture and giving you guys some background footage whenever I'm just blabbering on about things. But it's pretty dang cool. There's a lot of new content to look at in the new squad roadmap, and I'm going to kind of talk about my ideas about it too. So the Lashkar Valley map came out. This was already, released. It has the huge released things on it. Audio fixes, crash fixes, I don't know. I didn't really feel... I didn't even know that the bandage auto rearm adjustment came out. I don't even remember what that changed. But Lashkar Valley is an awesome map. I really, really do enjoy Lashkar Valley, and the new CAF vehicles are pretty neat as well. Haven't used that APC. It looks like a almost like a Bulldog style vehicle, like a 50 cal Crows on top with just like a IFV body. I don't know. I've used this Logi quite a bit though. It's pretty good. I like the new look. I like those Canadian big 5-ton trucks. End of July. So this is coming in the next 8 days. We'll have an updated SVD Marksman. So this is a style of SVD that's different than the current one. The current one has a Russian PSOP. Or POSP, PSO, I don't know, it's one of those. It's got a Russian PSO scope, basically, and no bipod. It's never really been a good rifle. I think I've made one video of it, but it really it's a very difficult rifle to use. The scope isn't great. It's not very zoomy, which it needs to be, as well as there's no bipod. So you're constantly getting outgunned by enemy machine gunners. Enemy auto riflemen with LCANs have better scopes than you do. Enemy marksmen have bipods and you don't. So very, very happy that they're bringing in a bipoded weapon for the Russian marksman, and hopefully this is more of like a sniper class, because it looks to me like that's a longer range scope as well. So it's not just a a standard designated marksman class. It's not just like a guy that has an M4 with a longer range, like 6x scope ACOG or something. This is what looks to be like a possible sniper class that's going to be added into the Russian faction, or this is going to be replacing or is going to be an option for the Russian marksman. Kind of an interesting idea there. I don't really know exactly where that will go, but still excited that we're going to have a scoped SVD for like an actual scope, because squad is always I feel like criticized by people for saying the scopes don't even really zoom, I'm always stuck with iron sights, but squad tries to keep the combat close together, so you're not getting sniped from too far away unless you run into the sightline of like a bipoded PKP. Unless you really make a mistake, you're not taking too many hits from afar, because the time to kill is just so dang fast. So that's the reason that squad scopes are really never that long of range. They're not really high magnification scopes. They try to keep that visual clarity down so that players are inaccurate at longer ranges. It's a good game mechanic for a game like this, which tries to keep the realism in the health, but also keep the game balance, so you're not just getting killed across like huge long distances. Trust me, it's better than, like, if you PvP in Arma 3, you know what I'm talking about, when people can just snipe you from super far distances, because that's realistic. That's how it actually plays out, but it's not exactly fun when it comes down to a kind of battlefieldy, realistic battlefield sort of game here. We're also going to get rally point iteration. I'm not exactly sure what that means. It's kind of very, very generic or general. I don't know what that means. FOB bleed out system. I'm guessing maybe if you're on top of a FOB for so long, it kind of begins to bleed out, or maybe if somebody isn't near the FOB for long enough, it eventually fades away. I'm not really sure. But bleed out to me sounds like, if it takes enough damage, maybe it dies, or if there's enough enemy infantry around a HAB or a radio, maybe it just starts to kind of degrade them. Not really sure exactly how that's going to work. Infantry speed adjustment. Please, God, make us faster. I don't know. I've always had those squad matches where you're running around for a very long time, and then you have a good fight. You finally have a good fight, and then your squad leader says, okay, well, there's no vehicles near us, and, it would waste tickets for us to respawn and go grab a vehicle, so we're going to walk another 1.5 miles to the next objective. And so you're just gonna have to hold the sprint button down the whole time. It's not really that exciting. I kind of wish, personally, in my opinion, I like the fast sprint speed. I like the current walking speeds and all that. I do think that Hopefully the lower end, when you run out of stamina, that speed gets adjusted higher just by a tad, maybe like 10%. I just feel like it's very sluggish whenever you have to cross long distances, and the punishment for trying to cross a long distance is like way too much for a game that constantly requires you to cross long distances. So kind of want to see where that goes. Again, I'm not a game developer, so I can't really give too much feedback about this, but that's just my opinion as a gamer. Again, that's a more arcadey sort of idea, so would I like it once it's actually implemented into the game? I'm not sure, but that's just what I would think I would like right now. VoIP leader channel quality of life changes, I guess. I don't know what that means either. Kind of generic, kind of general. Don't really know. But then also we have 2 Russian and 1 Canadian Armed Forces vehicle. I guess, oh, that's a Russian MRAP with what looks like a Crow's PKP on top, which is awesome. That's going to be very fun. That's basically like the Hunter MRAP that we have, or whatever it's called, the Matt V that we have for the US team, but now it's going to be on the Russian team. That's pretty sick. And then also a KAMAZ truck from, like, it looks like man, when I see that I just think of Arma 3. That's all I can think of. And then what looks to be like a Canadian Armed Forces, I don't know, the standard APC that they have, or IFV, but then it's got, looks like a Crow's and then a open top 240 or something. I can't tell. Something like that. 100 player testing. This is going to be tested by the end of this month. By 8 days from now, this is going to be tested. I cannot tell you how long I've waited for Squad to get more players. I feel like Squad is a game that could fit so many more players in their maps. I'm super excited for 100 players because that's going to add a squad to each team, an infantry squad to each team. We're going to have 9 more people plus 1 in, you know, Blue 4. You're going to have 9 people plus 1 in Op 4. So that's a potential 2 more squads in the match for infantry, which I feel like the worst part about squad is when you get into a match and it's all little tiny squads, and just upping that player count a little bit gives you more of a choice for squads and squad leaders, which is going to be a blast. I feel like that's going to fill up the maps a lot more, make the firefights a lot more epic. Even though that's 10 more people for a 40-person team, I just feel like that's a huge improvement. All right, end of August. Wow, I feel like stuff is coming out quick at this point. Beta 22, end of August. New map, Fallujah. Oh, dude, the squad maps have been so good recently. I am super excited for Fallujah. I'm happy that they waited this long because I feel like the map design has gotten better over time and that they've learned a lot of lessons as they've developed these maps over time. Like the maps for Squad that came out 4 years ago are nothing compared to the new ones that are coming out today. The new ones that are coming out today feel like they are AAA game developer maps. Like it's a Battlefield realistic AAA shooter game that's like putting out maps nowadays. It used to not feel like that. It used to feel very beta-y. Not very many assets and stuff like that were in the game, but I mean, you look at this picture, that's filled with stuff. Custom buildings that are only going to be for this map, it looks like. You got a lot of different trees, and you know, that looks like a realistic setting, and that's going to be Fallujah. So it's going to be a huge city. I think there was Fallujah back in Project Reality. I didn't play enough Project Reality to really remember the maps because I was like a child back then, but but that was I think Fallujah was a Project Reality map, if I'm not incorrect. And also we get a Middle okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna go right into what I just said. Middle Eastern Alliance, MEA. They're wearing chocolate chip camo, and they've got G3s, little stubby G3s as well. I think those are, I don't know if that's called a G3 something, G3A4, I don't know. The short stubby G3s though, I'm happy with that. Chocolate chip camo all the way, dude. That faction looks awesome. They've also got like M81 vests and stuff, so really cool kind of fictional faction here, which is pretty neat. Wearing chocolate chip camo too. I'm excited about that. Go look up. I think there's a guy that does camo history on YouTube, and he talked about the chocolate chip camo. It's a really cool camouflage. It had a lot of design elements behind it. Hab spawn changes. Okay, don't know what that means. Capture mechanic tweaks. Don't know what that means. I mean, it's tweaks. It's tiny. It's little tiny things. FTL improvements might be delayed. Track attack tournament game mode. Wait. So are they gonna do a racing game mode? Helicopter improvements. That is actually very needed. I feel like my helicopter door gunner video actually got really popular. I didn't expect it to. But a lot of people noted how, you know, I wasn't really doing much. Like, I put up that video because it was cool to like be a door gunner and have a good pilot helping me out. But even with a very, very experienced pilot, and I would say I'm a intermediate experienced door gunner in the game, it's difficult to hit people from that helicopter door gun. I kind of wish, I definitely think that the helicopter movement needs to be interpolated a little bit. Like the network interpolation needs to be a little bit smoother on the helicopter so that the gunner has a more stable and smooth firing platform. At least if we could make it client-side smoother for the door gunner when he's shooting out of the helicopter. Make the helicopter really squishy and smooth for him, because it was just difficult for me to shoot things because the helicopter would be netcode rubber banding back and forth by like maybe an inch or like a foot backwards while it was flying. And the faster we flew, the more it would bounce around. So hopefully that's fixed, as well as the angles at which you can shoot down, look left, look right, look up, look down, on the door guns on the Black Hawk is severely limited in comparison to the Mi-8 hip that's on the Russian side. So hopefully that can be looked at. I don't know if that's a balancing thing. I don't know, maybe if the Black Hawk just has a smaller hitbox and that's why they kind of balanced it by making the door gunners less look aroundy, you know, less of a field of view for the door gunners, but I don't really know. That's just my thoughts on the helicopter. Definitely needs improvement, but I feel like it's close. I feel like I would love to see a 7.62 minigun on the side of the Black Hawk. I know that might be OP or something, but it would just be so nice to have a and just red tracers flying through the battlefield, especially at night or something. That would be a lot cooler than a 240. Even if it did less damage, I would still run a minigun every single time. Founder weapons skins. So it's been like 4 years since Squad came out, almost 5 at this point, and it's always been a meme that the people that like paid for the Founder edition of the game or pre-ordered the game or something, they never got the Founder weapon skins. But finally, it looks like at the end of August, people are getting the Founder weapon skins, which is like a Tan M4, a Tan Lat rocket. I think that's it. I'm not really sure. I think that's it though. Language localization, okay, other languages, cool. This is the part that really gets me excited though. End of September, they're bringing in the you know, the 4-letter Eastern Militia faction that is in the real life. I'm not going to say that it starts with I. And they wait, what was that? So a plumber. I gotta show this picture. So a Texas plumber's truck, he sold it to a guy who sold it to somebody across seas, and it eventually became a technical for the bad guy faction of the world. So this guy saw a picture of his own old F-250 with a freaking Dishka AA gun looking thing on the back. I don't even know what turret that is. But how crazy would that be to see your company in a photo like this, to see your truck from Texas somehow make it to the middle? I don't know. It's just hilarious to me. So whenever I see these trucks, whenever I see like a technical truck, I think of that. So here's a technical truck with a mortar in the background, which is very, very interesting. Here's a technical truck. Wait, is that actually the same gun? Oh, wait, that gun, I think that's an AA gun. I think that's a dual barrel AA gun. That's the same gun. Yeah, that is definitely, that's the same exact gun right there. That's actually really funny. So I don't know what this truck is. I think this might just be a transport little white truck. But if you actually look at like the real combat stuff of what's going on in that area, I can't really say too many words or I'll get demonetized. It's for some reason they really like their white trucks, because I think there's just so many of them that they're kind of hard to identify if like a police force or something is searching for them, I would guess. But they use a lot of white trucks, so that's pretty cool that they're bringing in those white trucks. Vehicular impact damage. So now if you run into a tree at 80 miles an hour, you actually take damage, which is interesting. I'm waiting to see how that works with some of the vehicles, because I feel like some of the vehicles are pretty weird to control. So hopefully the control schemes for some of the vehicles are a little bit smoother and more controllable if they're going to add vehicular impact damage. But that's pretty good. They already have damage with vehicle impacts with other vehicles. Like we had a Black Hawk that got ran into by a Logi and both exploded. which was interesting. But now this is going to, I guess, be if you run into, you know, a building very quickly. So now people have to slow down to make sure that those people in the back of the Logi don't pull too many Gs and get their necks cracked in half or something. Post in-cap vulnerability reinstatement with, okay, I don't even know. Helicopter component damage improvements. I don't know what needs improvements with the components, but all right. Mosin is coming out for the Insurgent Force, and it has a PU scope, or it doesn't, whatever you want. Can we be a rifleman with an iron sight Mosin? Because that's all I kind of want. I just want to run around with a Mosin the whole day. I love Mosins so much in video games, so I'm really excited to see how Squad will interpret and showcase the Mosin. What classes it'll be in on the Insurgent faction. It'll definitely be, you know, the sniper rifle. It'll be one of those rounds that's going to be a one hit to the chest. Yeah, I'm very excited for the Mosin to see how that works out in Squad. Just, I don't know, Squad's new weapons are always really fun. And I always am going to be a big fan of their bolt actions ever since that Canadian rifle, the sniper rifle, came out for the Canadian Forces. Updated DLC system support for upcoming factions. Interesting. I wonder if they're going to have paid DLC or something. That's not a confirmation. I just don't know. Updated DLC system. Maybe it's like optional downloadable content or something. I bet it's something like that. I bet it's free optional downloadable content. Gameplay layer overhaul phase 1. Don't know what that means. I feel like maybe they're going to just do another pass of the overall gameplay and see what needs fixing. And that is all by the end of September. So now we're into October here, and we get into Op Anvil, which I don't know. I feel like I've seen a little bit of this map before. I'm not exactly sure, but my friend Fu was talking about this map and how he's kind of hyped for it. So probably a pretty good map if Fu's excited for it, because he's pretty experienced in Squad. New map, Op Anvil. New faction, the Australian Forces. Check out that kangaroo on the side of this IFV. That's going to be awesome. Hopefully they bring in the multicam OSCAM. Hopefully they bring in this camo, because I love the Australian multicam camouflage. This camouflage right here, it's super cool. And I hope they bring that into the Australian faction, because like dude, it's so hard to find these camos. You guys know how hard it is to find these. I don't think they really export them, but they're selling for like 250 thingies. You know, that's a lot of money. So yeah, Australian faction is in, it's gonna be end of October. It's gonna be in, and then we have new GB vehicles. Oh gosh, did I forget which faction this was? I don't know which faction this is. GB. There's 3 new GB vehicles. I don't know, man. Also, Insurgency game mode overhaul, phase 2. You know, they've kind of phased out the Insurgency game mode. It's where you had to hunt caches. You were like a US faction. You would fight insurgents. You would hunt down their caches. You would take down their caches. Kind of like Rush in a way. So I guess they're doing an overhaul to that, because it hasn't really been played very much in the past. Maybe it's out of the game entirely. I haven't played it in like probably a year, I would guess. I probably haven't played Insurgency. More of the RAAS, the random conquest, or the random kind of like linear chain link mode, stuff like that. But I haven't even seen that Insurgency game mode for a while, so I don't think it's in the game right now. Or if it's not, then it's just not being played. It's not really liked well. So hopefully they'll get that game mode back in and running well. Gameplay layer overhaul phase 2. Don't know what that means. So in December, it's the 5-year anniversary of Squad being out, which is pretty cool. Nuke faction U.S. Marine Corps. That will be sick. You've got M4s, little bipods there. It looks like a standard guy, like a standard rifleman, but then he's got a what looks to be kind of like an ACOG, maybe either with the sunshade, or it might be like one of the longer ranged ACOGs. And then he's got a bipod on the ACOG. It looks like they're walking through the streets of what seems to be like Fallujah. Looks like a 249 here to the right. Yeah, definitely a 249. And then this guy's got same. I think he's got a M4 as well. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty sweet seeing. I guess those might be 416s actually. Ooh, I bet they are 416s. I bet they're like a kind of modern USMC. That'll be cool. I always like to call these guys UFC. I always like to make fun of them. Amphibious vehicles. Woo! That'll be interesting. So possibly like Amtracs. I mean, if they're bringing in Marines in the same Look, they're putting Marines right here, and then right down, they're putting amphibious vehicles and fast roping. Fast rope? I just read that out loud, and I didn't even notice. Fast roping. Ooh, that'll be so cool. I wonder what the animation will look like, if it's going to be really smooth and stuff, or it's going to be kind of janky. I feel like it's going to be half and half. But amphibious vehicles will be awesome in Squad, for sure. A very welcome gameplay element, and I guarantee they're going to add an Amtrak for the USMC faction. Gameplay layer, okay, blah, blah, blah. Territory control, game mode overhaul, interesting. That's in 2021, so we've reached next year now. Commander resource point system, impact damage to vehicles, impact damage to pedestrians? Pedestrians? Does it mean just like infantry? I guess that just means infantry, like players on foot. I just wouldn't classify them as pedestrians. I would say they're infantry. I don't know. New map unrevealed yet though, and Panasia, which is definitely a Chinese-inspired faction. Look at that digital. That is Chinese camo basically. UI overhaul. They just don't want to say it because they don't want to get they don't want to get banned by China or something. After action report implementation, gamepad, I can't speak. / joystick support. Nice. That will be nice. Joystick support for the helicopters and stuff. Heck yeah. Can we please get track IR as well, because a lot of PC gamers also have track IR, and it's super useful, even more so than a joystick in my opinion, for games like this where you fly helicopters and stuff in more of a simplified helicopter flight model. Ultra wide monitor support, I don't really know. I feel like everybody that plays ultra wide on Squad has a great time already, but I guess they're adding more support for it later on, so good for them. So that is the recap for the Squad's roadmap in the future. From now, from present day all the way to 2021, that's the content that'll be added in. USMC, Australian forces, GB, whatever that means, Mosins, the Mark 1 plumbing trucks over here, Middle Eastern Alliance, Fallujah. Yeah, lots of stuff, new SVD. Lots of cool stuff coming to Squad. I've been having a lot of fun with this game recently, and I'm happy you guys were interested and wanted to have me go over this, because this is pretty cool stuff to come out, and pretty excited about this. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching,